Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, hour number 2. Sharp and Shapiro, also joined in studio by C-Win.
What's up?
Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by attorney Matthew Phillips, who says that the coronavirus is man-made and it was made in a laboratory. That's right. He's going to be joining us in a little bit. Speaking of the coronavirus, we talked about this last week. DUI Matt, also known as Matt Gaetz, walked into the House chambers with a gas mask on, mocking what this coronavirus is. He wore this enormous gas mask during a House floor vote on this emergency funding package for the coronavirus response. Now the congressman announced that a resident in his northwestern Florida district has died of the coronavirus. Gaetz said in a statement that he was extremely saddened to learn of the first fatality in our district. His message followed the Florida Department of Health's announcement late Friday that 2 residents had died of the disease, pushing the U.S. death toll now to 17 that night. Don't we have a responsibility as politicians to act in a professional manner, number one, and number two, to make light of this disease, of this coronavirus that has killed people? And he thinks it's funny, and he's trying to get attention. Well, I got to tell you something. I got to back Bobby Rush. If you don't know who Bobby Rush is, he's a Democrat who in 2012 wore a hoodie on the House floor to make a statement about the deadly consequences of racial profiling. And he tweeted out, well, on Wednesday, Matt Gaetz wore a gas mask in the chamber, making light of an epidemic that has killed 14 Americans. He contrasted how the congressman's behavior went unchecked to his own removal from the House floor back in 2012 when he wore this hoodie to protest racial profiling in the wake of the fatal shooting of Trayvon Martin in Florida. And listen, we can get in the weeds as far as that's concerned, but Representative Rush was not mocking anybody. Representative Rush was not poking fun at anybody or having a laugh. He was addressing which a serious issue, I believe, which is racial profiling. It does happen every day in this country. So my question to you is, why is Matt Gaetz not being removed from the floor when he wears something like that? Why is Matt Gaetz not being criticized as much as he should for the idiotic things he says on a regular basis and now poking fun at the coronavirus? Make no mistake about it. That is why he wore that ridiculous mask into the House chambers, to mock the disease, to mock what is going on. And there's something very, very, very wrong about that. And now he puts out a statement saying how sorry he is that one of his own constituents has now died of the coronavirus. I wonder if he would still wear that mask. Of course, the answer would be no. So that tells you right there why he wore the mask in the first place, for making light of something, for trying to draw attention to himself. And it is utterly disgusting, is it not?
I look at this and I say to myself, careful what you wish for if you're going to act in this manner, if you're Matt Gaetz, and then one of your constituents obviously comes down and ends up passing away from this. There is a big difference between what Matt Gaetz has done and some others do when it comes to mocking the situation than what someone like myself has done, where I say, look, we need to exercise caution. I'm not out there mocking it. I'm not out there making fun of the disease. But I also am pointing out that, look, it is not something we should be panicking over in the United States of America at this point. There's no question that there's been a number of deaths, right? And we have pointed out, ad nauseum as to the group of Americans that are susceptible to passing away to this disease. But I'm not in any way been trying to mock it or make fun of the situation. It's a certain line that you're not expected to cross. And Brian and JD, in the past, right, politicians would have got lambasted for this, right? You would have lost your career over stuff like that. But because now we're in the Trump era, it almost seems like stuff like this, it goes by the wayside. Brian, you're bringing up, whether or not he should be removed from the floor, whether or not he should be criticized. It's just the era that we live in, isn't it, guys, in American politics?
Well, and the issue
where
is
stuff like this is going to get, I'm not going to say swept under the rug, but it just doesn't get made as big a deal as it used to when you act this way as an American politician.
I think that Matt Gaetz did that because Donald Trump made this statement about it being a hoax, not the virus itself, but the way the virus was how the left-wing media used the virus to say that the Trump administration wasn't handling it or wasn't getting it taken care of. I think that's why Matt Gaetz did that. But it's interesting to me because, yes, I'm 34 years old. The virus is most likely not going to affect me, but I've talked to a couple of pretty prominent doctors, and I've been told verbatim that this could be just basically a death wish for the elderly and infirmed. So, and you would assume that Caucasian, elderly, infirmed adult males or females across the United States, the majority of those would be voting for Donald Trump. Would you not assume that? So it's kind of an interesting oxymoron to me, and it's a bit ironic that Matt Gaetz, for example, whose constituents, I would assume that the majority or a good amount of constituents in his area probably are those who would be susceptible to this particular virus, and a lot of Donald Trump supporters are as well. So I'm not sure why that's not being taken into account.
Well, you're going to have to ask Matt Gaetz that. He's an idiot.
The reasoning why. You have to ask Matt Gaetz the reason why. You're and JD, look, you put forth what you believe he thought he was doing there, or what his motivation was, but as far as Matt Gaetz, we need to know exactly.
He was clearly joking, obviously.
Yes.
And yes.
Which is beyond inappropriate.
Right. I totally agree with that. And I'm not a big fan of Matt Gaetz. I mean, when he was in Florida and he created that game where you get points if you sleep with the opposite sex who happens to be married, and there's like a scale. I mean, obviously Matt Gaetz
is not a very intelligent person.
He's obviously not very smart. No. He's in politics because he kind of looks the part. He's relatively eloquent, but I would not be angry if he was removed from politics very soon.
Well, I'll argue that. I don't think he's eloquent at all. I think he's a right-wing conspiracy theorist idiot. He's a skinnier, better-looking version, of Mr. InfoWars himself. I mean, I think that's what this guy is. He loves attention. He's an attention whore, for lack of a better term. That's why he wore that mask. He wore that mask because he wanted the attention. He knew that it would make headlines and he's doing it while people are suffering. He's doing it while his own constituents are suffering. He's making light of a very bad situation by wearing this mask in the House chambers. And he's doing it while people are in a lot of pain, while people are suffering. These people that are dying, they have families. And then one of your own is in House chambers making light of this situation. I mean, this is, to me, it's unprecedented to have anybody in office, an elected official, act or behave in this way. If he wants to do this in his own home, let him do whatever the hell he wants to. But the fact that you're voting on something involved with the coronavirus, that there's actually a vote to help people, and he's making light of the situation, the guy should be thrown out of office immediately, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, especially, Brian, in light of the fact that he is a representative in the state of Florida. Now, my parents are both, in that category, in the risk category, where they're in their 70s, and they live in Florida. So you have a lawmaker representing in Florida where there is a large, obviously, elderly population, right, or senior citizen population that is susceptible to this virus that is out there. There's a lot of concern in that state. People are scared, whether it's right or wrong. And look, from what the information that we've gotten, it is absolutely justified that people in that age range from 65 and over should be concerned about what's going on here. I'm concerned, obviously, because both my parents are there, and it's something that I think about. But you're Matt Gaetz. You're representing people in that state. You would think that there would be much more consideration, I guess, being made by Matt when it comes to even considering joking about a situation like this,
especially a state where tourism is so strong, and a lot of elderly,
good point,
of elderly do retire there.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break, and when we come back, attorney Matthew Phillips will be joining us. He says that the coronavirus is man-made, and it was made in a laboratory. We're going to ask if he has any proof of that. Coming up next, you're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take Sharpens Bureau. We got C-Win in studio. It is a Monday. Talking a lot about this coronavirus. How serious is it? Where did it come from? Well, the man we have with us in studio right now, his name is T. Matthew Phillips. He's an attorney here in town, and he has been very outspoken. He's actually even written an article about this, how he believes that the coronavirus is not only man-made, but was made in a laboratory. Mr. Phillips, first of all, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
I apologize for the wardrobe malfunction earlier. So.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't
we're
see
good
that.
to go.
Thank God.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to speak into the microphone. By
Oh,
the
no,
way.
we got
So,
it. I'm
okay,
ready to
we're
rock
good.
here, so let's
All
go.
right. So, why do you think it was man-made? Number one, and where is your evidence to support the fact that it was made in a laboratory?
The patent office proves it. All you got to know is that the virus is totally patented.
And how do you know that?
Because you go to the U.S. Patent Office. Just go to patentoffice.com or I guess .gov or whatever.
Okay, so
it is.
for people that don't know what you're talking about, what does that mean?
Oh, well, let me explain here. We live in a nation, I think I mentioned that in the article, I can't remember, but it starts off kind of ominously if you read the article, and it says, imagine living in a world, or a country where disease-carrying pathogens are considered inventions. And they are. We live in that world, These pathogens called, the viruses and so forth, they're all patented. People may be surprised to learn, but it's the truth. The coronavirus is patented. In fact, there's about 36 different varieties of coronavirus that are patented, and you can actually buy them online. And you could take it, I suppose, and throw it in the air system at the Sands Hotel or the Stardust.
Okay, but let's not get into the weeds here. Let's be specific to this. You say it's patented.
It is patented. There's 36 of them.
By
yes.
who? By who?
I'm not sure who owns it. It may be owned by Dow Chemical or maybe owned by Hughes Aircraft.
Okay, but you understand why I asked that question. If you're saying
patented,
that a disease is patented, but you can't come up with the people that patented it, then it's hard for me to believe you.
Well, unless you're that lazy and don't have the time to go to Google or something like that.
I'm asking you right now.
Okay, no, it's all good.
Brian is very lazy.
Where was the coronavirus patented?
I don't have it committed to memory, but trust me.
Isn't that important though to know? Listen,
not really.
With all due respect,
really, no.
Mr. Phillips.
Okay, let me interrupt. Let me
right.
just okay. If you can name a virus, it is patented. I don't care if it's the MRSA virus, the bird flu virus, the Legionnaire's virus, the Ebola virus, the Zika virus, measles virus is patented. All of these viruses, the rubella virus is patented. If you can name a virus, it is definitely patented. There are hundreds and hundreds of them.
But what you
I
are
don't
saying
have them
is very
committed
serious.
to memory.
But what you are
I
saying,
know is going on.
what you are saying is very serious. You're
Yes, it
saying
is.
that
I'm
somebody
it's
did
like-
this on purpose. And
Yes.
in layman's terms, that's what you're saying.
Yes,
so when
absolutely.
Okay, that's
Wake
fine.
up.
Okay, that's fine. But when you make a claim like that, which is a very serious
Yes.
claim, you have
Yes.
to have evidence to back it
Okay,
up.
so-
And I'm
so should
asking
we-
you what your
should we-
evidence is.
Wait a second. That's
Just
like
the fact
a
that it's
stupid question.
patented
Wait a
wouldn't
second.
make it evidence, though, right?
Pardon me. I'm sorry. What?
Just the fact that it's patented wouldn't make it evidence that it's some type of man-made virus in some type
that's
of
a good question.
laboratory.
I actually consider myself well versed in patent law.
Okay.
Now, if you wanted to go, say you found an orange, you go, oh look, here's this orange fruit here. I want to get a patent for it. Can you patent an orange? No, you can't because it exists in nature. What if you found a poodle? Go, oh, I want to patent this poodle, and then the poodle will have babies, and I'll make royalties on the baby poodles. Well, the poodle already exists in nature. In order to get a patent on something, it has to be, in the language of the patent law, a substantial improvement over the prior art. So if you have an invention like a cotton engine and you call it a cotton gin and your name is Eli Whitney, you can get that patented. But inventions are something that are patented. So the very fact that these things are patented means that they are ipso facto man-made. Now, if you want to do like a graphic where maybe the producer can pull up, the website, we can scroll through it together.
But he's lazy. He won't do that.
I can show you where they're at. I mean, trust me, the viewers that are out there, just go to Google and hit the word coronavirus and
but
U.S.
again,
Patent Office,
I
and
get
you'll
it.
see it's patented.
Okay. So, Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
I get it. You're saying that the coronavirus is patented.
Yes,
You're saying
it's
go on
man-made.
Google. But
It's
I'm going to
invention.
ask you the same question again because this
here
is
we
a
go.
very, very important question. Now, it is this is important. I don't think we should make light of this. This is important. You're making a very serious accusation. Now, I
Right.
get it. It's your opinion. That's fine.
It's
You're
not
entitled
an opinion. It's patented. It is patented.
Okay, so you need to tell me then, with all due
Okay.
respect,
Yes.
where it was patented, who patented it, what country,
look it up.
where. What do you mean look it up? If I look it up, I'm not going to be able to find it.
The reason we're
Yes,
asking
you
you is because
can.
you're the authority on this. You're the one that's bringing this forward.
This is ridiculous what you guys are doing here. There's
What-
a computer
what do
there.
you mean
Look
it's
at-
ridiculous?
I
No,
don't
it's
have-
not.
You just who was the 23rd president of the United
What
States?
does it have to do
Do
with
you
the
ever
coronavirus?
memorize? It has nothing to do with
You're
it.
claiming-
Not any more
you're
than who
claiming-
the name is.
hold on a
okay, let me
second.
call time out because you're robbing your listeners trying to play a gotcha moment because you don't think
No,
I have
I'm
evidence.
not
asking. We're just
Exist.
posing
All right,
questions.
No,
It's
it's
not
an
a
easy
gotcha
search.
moment.
No,
Excuse
it's an
me.
easy search. It's an easy search. Go to Google, U.S. Patent
Are
Office
you saying-
coronavirus.
are you
All right,
saying-
you can do it right
No,
now.
but we
It'll exist.
have
It's
to
out
take
there.
this apart a little
It's
bit,
in the
Mr. Phillips.
website.
Here, we
It's-
have to
okay.
break this down because
Ask
this
me
radio show.
questions,
We're
not
trying to
about
inform
proof.
people that aren't as
Not- you can
informed
just
as
look-
you and I are
Why don't you
on this.
let me tell you what's going on. Okay, well, your viewers can look it up because it's easy to look
They
up.
can-
It's
they
like
can look
saying-
it up, but
it's like, what's the address of the White House? I don't have it
Well,
memorized. You can look it up.
All
I
due
guess it's
respect, Mr.
1600
Phillips,
yes.
if they can just look
No
it up, why
respect,
are we
no
having you
respect.
on the show to talk about it? If they can just go and
because I'm
Google
not
it, why would
talking-
we want to get information from you?
Let me tell you
Or
exactly,
from me,
okay.
or from Brian,
Let's
or from
start again.
JD.
Let's start again. Okay, we're not going to talk.
I'm
about
asking a valid question.
We're
No,
doing
you're
what
not
we do.
asking a valid
Yes.
question.
We're
Let me tell you
doing a
what's
nice
really
redo
happening.
here.
I'm going to tell you guys what's really happening. Okay.
Okay, what's
There's
what's
something
happening?
called the Hegelian dialectic.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know what that is.
Does anybody
including
know
myself.
by show of hands? Is this I
I
got
have
a
no idea
woke
what that
crowd
is.
here?
I
The
don't.
Hegelian
What is that?
dialectic in plain English is something called the problem reaction solution formula. It's as old as it's mentioned in the book by Niccolo Machiavelli, if you know about the book The Prince. It's
Okay,
an
you
ancient
have to
technique.
understand.
The
So
the
problem
you have
is
to
this.
understand, the
The
lay person
government
doesn't
creates
know
a
what you're talking
problem.
about, so you have to
the
explain
government
it.
creates a problem, okay?
Yeah.
The problem is they pretend that a vaccine has escaped
And
or
then they-
somebody
and
ate a
then-
bat
and
in
then-
China.
So
and
the
then they
U.S.
solve it.
government created this problem, is what you're saying?
I'm saying that whoever created it, somebody behind it, I don't know.
It came out
The
of China,
government-
out of the
okay.
Wuhan,
Right. Right.
district
and then
in China.
the entire
That's where
mass
it
media starts going,
originated.
"Oh my God, there's a corona coming to get us!
All right.
Oh my God, corona! Better wash your hands! Don't touch your face!" Corona. Oh, the question I'm sorry.
So what does it have to do with
I-
the
I-
patent?
Go ahead,
though?
go ahead.
I do have a
So I don't
question. So you
understand why
said
there's
that
a patent
there's
thing.
36 patents for coronavirus.
Yes.
And coronavirus, all it means is a virus that's surrounded
Yes.
by a crown. This
Yes.
this virus is COVID-19. Is there a patent
Okay.
for COVID-19?
COVID-19 is the name they gave it.
Right.
It's the name the media gave it.
Now,
I don't
is,
think
now
there's-
is the name is
I
the,
don't know
but
if
is,
that's
is the
the way- I
name
don't know if
applied to the
that's
same patent for the coronavirus? Because again, coronavirus is just the type of virus. COVID-19 is the actual
name. It's
is
a
the
name.
actual
Is the name
is
that
the
the
actual name of the
CDC and
virus
US
that everyone else
AMRID
is
and
applied
those
to.
gave-
It's like a
gave the virus.
nickname. I don't think anybody's patented that one. But here's what's going on.
But you can
What
patent the
people need-
process as
Let me
well,
tell you what
right?
people need to. Yes, processes can be.
Yeah.
That's a very good call. Let me tell you what people need to know is that they used to confirm cases of an outbreak, but they don't confirm anything anymore. Now they have presumptive cases. Y'all should be now. I don't have proof of this anywhere, but if you look online and read the stories, they used to say confirmed cases of measles. Now they say presumptive
I've seen that.
cases because they're not really looking. See, this is why I'm so critical of the whole coronavirus thing, because they're not actually testing for the coronavirus. When somebody supposedly has it, they never actually say, "Oh, there it is. I see the crowns on the perimeter right around the capsid. I see it. Oh, there it is on the envelope." Nobody actually looks at coronavirus under a microscope, and that's the
Then how
sure
are they
sign
telling-
I will tell you
of
this.
a conspiracy.
I've seen 10
Okay?
to 15 images.
Yeah,
That,
they just
where
take
where they've
they
actually-
take stock
where they've actually-
images.
So you
They
say
just
that
take
the
stock
images aren't
images
real?
and call it a virus. They just make up stuff
Okay, so
all day
hold on.
long.
Let me ask
If
you a
you-
question.
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
like to talk
But let
about
me
Google.
Finish,
If
let me
you-
finish
if
the
you-
story. I'm not quite done because it gets really good. Okay, when they go to
It's
test,
already quite good.
They don't actually test to see if the virus is there. What they're looking for is a shadow of the virus. They're trying to look for are
Hold
there
on, guys.
antibodies. There's
Hold on.
no way to
So
prove
let me
if
ask you a
anybody has
question, Mr.
coronavirus
Phillips.
unless they look under a
You're
microscope, and they're not doing that.
All right, hold on. So, Mr. Phillips, I want to make sure I state your opinion correctly. So you're
You're not
saying,
gonna, I know you're going to get it wrong, but let's
okay,
see it
well,
anyway.
let me try to give it a shot.
Okay, I'll give you a
you're
best
all-
shot. Okay.
you're all over the place, so it's tough
Yeah.
for me. But I want to zone in on what you
Okay.
just said.
Okay.
You're telling me someone goes into a hospital,
Yes.
and they have symptoms that could be the coronavirus.
They have a
Hold
runny
on,
nose
I
and maybe a
understand.
fever, like what we call the common
I
cold.
understand.
Right.
So
Okay.
my question is, you're saying
yes.
that you believe these doctors are not actually testing people?
I'm telling you they don't.
so how do they know
don't-
they have the virus then?
Because that's what the media says. They put in a teleprompter.
So
and
these
someone
people
will
that
get it.
died?
controlling
Yes.
So
whether or
these
not
people,
they have.
so you're saying these people?
Yes.
Hold on, Chris. You're saying these people that have died of the coronavirus?
Nobody's died
didn't-
of any coronavirus.
What are you
That's
talking
the dumbest thing
about?
in the world. Let me ask you this: when you hear, do you believe everything Anderson Cooper says and say, "Oh my
This
God,
has
the
no-
media"?
hold on.
Anderson
Do you
Cooper.
say like, "Oh
Yeah,
my
we're
God, I
done.
believe the
Yeah.
media"?
Hang
every
on.
single thing. That's
Chris,
like,
hold on. You're telling me that the people who
how many people you met died of coronas? How many people you know got
there
it?
have been 17
How
people in
many
the
have you
country.
met?
That's
How many have you
academic.
met?
22.
How many have
It's been
you
22,
met?
Brian.
And
22 now.
meanwhile,
22.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
God,
how many?
I'm sorry I didn't know any of these people personally.
22
What does that mean?
3,200 worldwide.
No, so are you,
3,200
Okay,
worldwide.
7 people have presumptive case of a runny nose and a sore throat. Meanwhile, like 1 in 22 kids is diagnosed with autism, and nobody cares.
What do you mean nobody
22
cares?
vets
Of course we
kills them.
care.
No, not like they do. Listen what happened. The problem is the government or whomever, the vaccine people, Merck, Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, Novartis, Sanofi, Pasteur, Johnson & Johnson,
That is quite the list there.
pharmaceutical cartel gets together and say, let's create a problem and scare the hell out of everybody because fear is the motivator. The next thing you know, they get the people begging for vaccines. Oh, please, government, help us. Keep us safe from terrorists. Keep us safe from viruses. Next
right.
thing you know,
Well, here's what I'm
wait,
gonna
wait,
do.
wait, the punchline is here.
This
$8.3
isn't
billion
funny.
in funding. It's all about getting money. Problem, reaction, solution, get $8 billion,
right.
milk it out of the taxpayer, then it's strippers and cocaine and downhill from there. I mean, problem, reaction, solution,
All right.
$8 billion.
So I want to
Wake
give
up.
you. I want to
Wake
give you.
up.
I want to give you another.
JD, that was
we're up-
quite the diatribe
Chris,
right there
Chris,
that we
that was
just
outstanding.
I haven't even
That
got
was
started yet. You
impressive.
guys don't let me get going here.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what I want to do. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to give you a little bit more of an opportunity to explain this.
Give me a narrative
I'm gonna-
without the question.
Okay.
Because you really can't. With
Well-
all due respect, I hate to say that because it's always going to be a cut down. But with all due respect, you don't know enough to ask
Okay.
a proper
It's
question.
radio.
So
We
let me
ask
say a
questions,
narrative.
though.
Just
Guys,
give me a narrative.
we're going to do another segment, but with all due respect, you're not going to tell me how to interview you. If you'd like to stick, hold on. No, I'm being serious now. This is not
He's one
funny.
of the best interviewers
Okay.
in the
I thought this
business.
guy- I
So
thought
he's
he
pretty
was
good
Kim
at it.
Jong-un.
Excuse me.
Yeah, sorry.
I would. You're glad. You're welcome to stick around for another segment. You're not going to tell me how to interview you. Okay? Okay? Don't tell me how
Why
to do
don't
an
you
interview.
let
I've
me
been doing
give
this
a
for 20
narrative?
years.
that being said,
Listen.
sir, I have some pretty good questions
All right,
for you
so
myself.
we will ask you questions when we come back. With all due respect to you,
Fair
we are
enough.
going to conduct the interview that we want to. If you want to step out in the middle of an interview, you're more than welcome to do that. But that's what we're going to do. We're also going to take
Okay.
some phone calls. 702-257-5396. Again, the number to call if you want to be a part of this conversation. 702-257-5396. We have attorney T. Matthew Phillips in studio. He says the coronavirus doesn't even really exist. People aren't
Yes.
dying from the coronavirus.
Yes.
He said not one person he believes has died from the virus.
Yes.
He thinks it's a farce. We will ask him more about this when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. 257-5396. You are listening to The Vegas Take. All right, welcome back. It is The Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, joined in studio by C-Win and T. Matthew Phillips. He's an attorney. He says the coronavirus was man-made, yet he's saying that it has not killed anybody. So we're taking your phone calls on this as well. You can ask him a question. Maybe you agree. Maybe you disagree with him. That's the beauty of this show. That's what we do. The number to call is 702-257-5396. Again, that number is 257-5396. Why don't we start off with Robert? Robert, you are next up on The Vegas Take. Robert, are you there? Did we lose Robert? Go ahead, Robert.
There we are.
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Okay, there we go. Okay, yes. So I just left the UNLV School of Medicine, and I have a contact that I'll be reaching out to that
Okay.
manages the Mountain West states of the universities. They got a grant to study things.
It must be
Anyway,
a doctor.
I just went to Nebraska because they have the center there, the containment center. We've brought samples of our nano solution. We break silver down to the smallest possible particles, 20 nanometers. And silver has always been an antiseptic and a disinfectant. The pioneers going across the fruited plain used to throw silver dollars in their water barrels. It just works. And it's already approved by the EPA, and it's already approved by.
So, Robert, I'm sorry to interject, but I'm just doing it because of time constraints, sir. So, do you agree or disagree with this attorney, Matthew Phillips, who says this is man-made and it's not killing anybody? What would you say to him?
Well, I would say that it probably is man-made in the level 4 labs in Wuhan, that it got out because they
How did it get
are
out?
sloppy.
How did it get
Well,
out? Knowing viruses do not mutate, they don't move anywhere. They have no legs. They don't swim. How do viruses get out?
Here's how it got out. They're using interns, and the interns are following the protocols. They also have a tendency to.
So
sell
wait.
their
Are you saying that they're hiring interns to take the coronavirus and put it into the air system in the local Wuhan Sheraton, and they get people sick? I mean, when you say that interns, be
no.
more specific.
Yeah, so they use interns from the local university to assist with their level 4.
Robert, I have to interject.
biocontainment lab.
Forgive me, I have to interject. Do you have any evidence to back up that claim?
Sure, I do.
What is it?
And they also take, and it's well documented that they take their test animals after they die.
Well, where's your
Well,
evidence?
it's not well documented because we would all know about it if it's well documented, right?
Well,
I mean,
Robert, with all due respect, what evidence do you have that you can share with us right now that interns put this virus out there and it was man-made? What specific evidence do you have? Because I would imagine you must have specific evidence if you would make a claim like that. So can you tell us what that evidence is?
Sure. My evidence is that I have been trying now for 3 weeks. I put 29 calls into the CDC. I got one return call. I said I have nano solution that absolutely will take and kill MERS, Hammerbacher, Ebola, everything, every virus there is on contact.
How do you kill a virus if it's not alive? Viruses are not alive. Explain the mechanism by which you kill a virus.
I've had just about enough of Robert. I just asked him for evidence, and evidence was 29 calls he made to the CDC. That was his evidence. That 702-257-5396.
Can I explain who Robert is? Robert is one of those kind of guys who wants to pretend to be a conspiracy to make the legit conspiracy theorist, I can't say it, sound stupid.
We'll get
that
there.
guy was an idiot, okay?
We'll get
you got
there.
to ask a legit conspiracy theorist what's going on. You know what I mean?
Well, I think if you're a legit conspiracy theorist, you have to have
but does everybody know
100%
viruses are
proof.
not alive? Does anybody
I
think
did not know
viruses
there
are
were levels
alive?
of conspiracy theorists.
Let's
Does
take
anybody
another
know
call.
anything about viruses? Anybody here?
Yes, I do. I've had a few myself. Let's go to Christy. Christy, you're next up on the Vegas Take. You're on with attorney Matthew Phillips. Go ahead, Christy.
Hey, guys.
Brian,
So I wanted to call in, and I'm actually a fan of T. Matthew Phillips. I did read his article that he did on Corona, but there were some things that he had mentioned, and I wanted to kind of share my point on it. He said that nobody has died from Corona, and I want to say that I agree because Corona in itself is just a cold virus. Now, what people are dying from is pneumonia or like respiratory infection, and what happens is these people are sick and they're not taking care of themselves, and they're not essentially dying from Corona, but they're dying from, just being sick people.
So when doctors and people,
medical experts
actually put out reports,
which we are not, right?
You mean like
none of-
the
and which she
pharmaceutical
is not.
advertising?
The caller's not either.
Let me just
right?
finish the question, please,
Yes.
before I'm interrupted by 7 people. When these doctors actually put out reports and say that not only did they contract the coronavirus, but they died because they caught the coronavirus, and they're putting that out publicly, are they just lying?
What I believe is that there is this media thing going on where they want to put a lot of fear propaganda. They're trying to create...
I didn't ask you about the media. With all due respect, Christy, I asked you about the doctors. I didn't ask you about the media.
I know. Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
What I think is they're all just in on it, and what they're trying to do is scare the people to create a desire for a vaccine, which in my opinion, is poison. So what they're just spreading.
So vaccines are
propaganda.
poison?
I don't believe that they're accurate. And T-Matt did mention that they're not testing for corona. If you look at what they're doing, they really are just saying if people have a fever. And then I saw Inside Edition did a video where this guy was in the hospital with corona, and the guy asked, how are they treating you? And he just held up a bottle of Gatorade.
I understand.
You know?
I want to just make sure I got your opinion right here. So you're saying all the doctors and everybody in all the hospitals are, quote unquote, according to you, in on it. I'm not even really sure what that means, because the doctors and the people that are writing off on the death certificates are writing the cause of death as being coronavirus in these 22 cases. You're saying every single one of these hospitals, every single one of these doctors, every single one of these people are, quote unquote, in on it. And my question to you is, how do you know that? And they're in on it for what reason?
Well, I mean, these people are all in bed with pharma, and pharma wants to make money off vaccines. They want to make
There's
money
not
off...
even a vaccine out there, and they're saying it's not
they
going to
got
be...
$8 billion
they're creating
for
one.
one.
And I believe they're in the works for
All
it
right.
now.
Well, Christy,
So-
I appreciate your phone call. Thank you.
Am
Go
I
ahead,
living
JD.
in bizarro world here? I really do feel that way.
Are you guys pro-vaxxers?
So why
I'm
are
just
they
curious.
why are they
you guys all-
why are they quarantined in these special biocontainment units?
Because
and
like
why
I'll
are, and
explain
why
that.
are,
Okay,
why
good
are
one.
all the
Yes.
employees wearing borderline hazmat suits?
Yeah, okay, that's a great question right there. Because
it's an outstanding question.
Because it's all a bunch of actors.
Okay,
they
they're
put
all
them in
acting.
a hazmat suit.
So
they get
they're
everybody. Let me
actors.
finish.
Like
they
Dustin
get the
Hoffman?
media. Yes, exactly like Dustin Hoffman.
Where's Morgan
or Brad
Freeman?
Pitt.
So-
and next
so
wait,
where's
wait,
Renee
wait, one
Russo?
person at a
We
time
need
here.
him.
Hold on.
We had someone on our show last week named Carl Goldman. Carl
And?
Goldman he was the first ever
Right.
person in
Where's
the
your
world
evidence?
to talk
Wait,
about
wait,
the
wait,
coronavirus.
Where's your evidence about that? I don't know. He's the first. I was talking about it before.
No, I'm saying he actually is infected with. Are you infected with the virus?
How does he
think
know
you
he's
are.
infected?
No,
Where's your evidence he was infected? I can play this game too.
Carl
Where's your
Goldman
evidence?
was on
Come
the Diamond Princess cruise ship.
Yes.
He's infected with the
And?
virus.
He got
He
a
was
cold?
moved to a biocontainment unit in
Okay.
Omaha, Nebraska,
And was tested
where
for the
I'm
virus.
I
from.
don't
You're telling me
believe any of it.
that
I don't believe
everyone
any of
there,
it.
everyone there is an actor.
Because they want to create
Okay, so
fear
let me ask
because
you
they
this:
want to
where does
vaccinate
the story
everybody
come
to
from
death.
as
They
far
want
as
to
the actual disease
vaccinate
itself?
everybody.
So the conversation was
Right.
that bats in China
That's
gave
nonsense.
the disease to pangolins, and pangolins who are sold in China on the black market were sold, and I guess their scales are used for certain things,
You have any
and they're
evidence
eaten
of
by
that?
by some Chinese. But that's how the virus started.
Allegedly.
Well, why did the virus start in Wuhan, and where does that story
Because
come from?
that's a good question. I think the reason they started in China because our media can play the game that China's a secret society. We really don't know what's going on in China to scare everybody. Because as they scare everybody enough, they can get Congress to appropriate $8 billion, and they're going to make a vaccine, and presumably you guys are going to go vaccinate yourselves.
Matthew,
Why would you do that?
we want to take some more phone calls. Let's go to Mitch. Mitch, you're on with Matthew Phillips. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind, Mitch?
Well, I have a PhD in toxicology, and I was an infectious disease specialist for the Air Force.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that you're interviewing, I wonder if he's ever heard of reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction.
Sure.
technology.
What about it? What do you want to know about it?
That is exactly how they test for this, and it's not the
No, they're not.
coronavirus. It is a SARS-CoV-2. It's a second generation of a SARS virus. That's what it is. COVID-19 is what they gave the
Where's your evidence?
disease names.
No,
What
really,
was
where's
it?
your evidence?
Okay,
Come on, that's the most
worked on this
ridiculous
stuff in
thing
the
I have
military.
ever heard, okay?
Okay,
And the fact that you're in the
no.
military even makes me more suspect because they have the most motive to set up these
can you be
quarantine
quiet?
and curtail people's
Can you be
civil
quiet for a
liberties,
second and
just like
listen
they
to
did in
somebody who's a
9/11.
scientist?
They take away your
Please.
freedoms, take away everything, the
Please
personal
be
rights,
quiet.
because they pretend there's an
All right,
emergency.
let Mitch respond. Go
You're
ahead, Mitch.
grandstanding. Be quiet. There's a device. It's PCR, our real-time PCR. They take a fragment of the virus and then they replicate it in a device, and it shows them exactly what it is. And
No, they
that's how
don't. Well, then why are they testing only for the shadow of the virus? Why are they doing
not testing
presumptive
for a
cases?
shadow of the
Why
virus.
are cases
They're not-
called
they're not.
presumptive
No,
instead of
they're not.
confirmed?
There are
No, they're presumptive. You
four-
can look it up.
There are there are several nucleic acids which are the basis for for all these viruses, and there's a specific sequence, and they're looking at that full sequence. That's what they're looking
All
at.
right, Mitch. Well, listen, Mitch, we appreciate your opinion and we appreciate the call. By the way, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with attorney Matthew Phillips, who says that the coronavirus is not only man-made, but no one has died from the coronavirus. Some people would say he is a conspiracy theorist. He says he's a good conspiracy
What do
theorist.
you mean by conspiracy theorist? You know what that word even means?
Yes, I do.
challenge- Define
Yes,
it
I
for
do.
me. Define it. I bet you don't know
Here's
what
the
it is.
difference here. Okay, well,
Tell me what it means.
Okay, well, we're going to take some calls, but before I do, I will answer your question.
chickening out.
No, I'm not chickening out. I'm looking at you right now, and I will tell you right now, a good conspiracy theorist has facts to back up their opinions.
No, I asked
and
you to
have
define
zero.
the term. Can you define
And
the
I'm
term?
asking you, and I asked
You can't. I didn't
Excuse
think
me,
you could.
excuse me, sir. I asked you 20 minutes ago to give me evidence, and you've given me absolutely no evidence
I'm
to
asking you
support
to
any of your
define your
opinions.
own word.
And I'm
A
asking you to define
conspiracy
your
theorist-
opinions. The reason why you're in studio and you can't give me
Let
one
me tell you
evidence
what
to back that
conspiracy
up.
theory means. Conspiracy is an agreement between two or more people to commit a crime.
Here we
That's
go
what
again, getting into the
conspiracy
weeds.
is.
Okay, let me
That's
ask you a
what has
question.
definition.
Where is your 100% evidence to back the fact that no one has died from the coronavirus? I'm going to
Okay.
give you another opportunity to answer that
let me just
question.
put a big mirror here and say, where's your evidence that anybody has died other than the media? But, you believe
no,
everything
not the media.
says, right?
Excuse me, let me respond to that.
You met someone that died?
Excuse me, let me respond
Okay,
to that. It's
okay.
not the media that's reporting the deaths. It's the hospitals and the doctors that are. So, what do you mean, oh
Right.
my God? It's the doctors.
That's like the
People
dumbest
have
thing I've
died.
ever
You
heard.
go to-
People
you can go to the morgue.
making
You
this
can
up.
go to the
They do
morgue.
this.
That's the
Hold on,
evidence.
Chris. The dumbest
Well,
thing.
I'm
hold
making
on.
a point.
It really
okay,
is.
hold on.
Seriously.
The dumbest thing you've ever heard.
Yes.
So you're telling me all all the doctors in the hospitals out there that have written out all the reports that have said people have died the coronavirus are dumb, and you're the smart one?
It's not doctors, Brian.
Are people allowed to write that on death certificates that they die of vaccines? There's never been the word vaccine written on a death certificate because they're not allowed to.
So this is all a hoax to you. The coronavirus is all a hoax.
Well, I'm telling you that what they get to write or don't write on death certificates is highly controlled.
So this is all a hoax,
okay?
and the coronavirus isn't hurting
already.
anybody. It's all a hoax
well,
to you.
Instead of just asking the question over and over, let me explain what's going on here.
Please do within a minute or two so we can get to some of the other calls.
I've said a million times, they purposely create a problem, and they get the government to beg them.
Who does that? Who?
Come on, you know how I'm saying.
No, answer the question.
The powers that be.
Who
like
are
you
the
want me to
powers
look it
that
up?
be?
Okay. Next time, if you make any factual assertion, I'm going to ask you every time you make one to say, where's your evidence for that?
You go ahead,
because it doesn't make a talk show. It just shows you're Neanderthal and have no subtlety.
Okay, well, first of all, you don't know what a talk show is, and if you don't like it, you can get the hell out of the studio right now. You're not going to insult me on our show.
You should let the person, your guest, say something.
You're not saying anything.
Where's your evidence for that?
You're not saying anything that makes sense. All right, we're going to take some more calls. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Brandon. Brandon, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on? Brandon, are you there? I think we lost Brandon. 257-5396. Let's go to Eddie. Eddie, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's up, Eddie? What's on your mind, man?
The article in the Jerusalem Post that said that a Galilee Research Institute has been working on a vaccine for poultry bronchitis and some kind of respiratory disease in chickens and poultry, and that they might have a vaccine in 3 to 6 months, according to the Science and Technology Minister of Israel.
Okay, that's possible.
How do they know it'll work? I mean, the point is some viruses. Why is there no vaccine for AIDS? Why is there no vaccine for herpes? Because not every virus is such that you can turn it into a disease to make it, handle itself.
257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Joel. Joel, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Well, where did you find this guy? I mean, first of all, he's never answered a question directly.
Yes.
Number two, I believe you guys are doing a disservice by allowing this guy a platform to disseminate nonsense. People are going to believe this crap that this guy is.
People are going to believe it because it's true, pal. That's what's going on.
You can't prove one thing that you've said yet.
You can't prove anything that you've said either. Okay, nobody can prove anything.
You haven't been able to prove a single thing. You dodge every question that's asked. You avoid. You evade. You're a coward and you're a nitwit.
Okay. Anything else? You have a question there?
Also, you forgot to say conspiracy theorist.
I forgot conspiracy theorist.
But you don't know what that is, Brian.
Where's your evidence? NBC? Anderson Pooper? Who's your evidence?
Hey,
Come on.
Hey, Slick, you're an
guy.
attorney.
Yeah.
You know what evidence is.
Yeah.
Shut up or shut up.
Put up or shut up. I don't have any exhibit, boards here or anything. Listen, they're doing this on purpose. The same reason they did 9/11.
What kind of attorney are you, by the way? I'm curious.
Any kind of attorney you want me to be.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Really. But listen, let me finish the story. Do you guys believe 9/11? That a bunch of guys, 12 guys from the Middle East with box cutters, were able to thwart the #1 world's defense system?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
You guys are brainwashed. You guys must be pro-vaxxers.
Brainwashed. I guess.
If you guys had your flu vaccine?
Okay,
yes or no?
so
do you
hold on a
guys believe
second.
vaccines are safe?
9/11 didn't happen?
No, do you guys believe vaccines are
9/11
safe?
didn't happen.
Let's go back to 9/11
it did happen,
for a
but
second.
that was demolition. This is the only time I've seen a building come right down on its own footprint.
And who was responsible for that?
Remember when the landmark
very simple
hotel
question
fell
for you
over
here.
like this when the demolition fell over? So
Matthew.
9/11, the whole thing
So let
on
me
its
ask you
own footprint.
So let me ask you. Go ahead, JD. Go ahead.
See, Matthew, very simple question here. Cancer has killed millions and millions of people. Do you think that the government is going out of their way not to create a cancer vaccine?
Absolutely.
Because it is good for the medical business, because it is a billion-dollar business.
Cancer, this is a whole nother show, but cancer cures are definitely suppressed. A cancer vaccine won't help anything. All vaccines are a hoax. Let me tell you about vaccines, because a lot of people will tell you vaccines are safe. Let me give your viewers a factoid they've never heard before. In 2011, they had a big Supreme Court case. In the Supreme Court case, they had to rule on whether or not people could sue vaccine makers. You're not allowed to sue vaccine makers. Even GM, General Motors, at the height of their game, when they were the biggest corporation on the planet, they didn't have immunity from lawsuits, but the vaccine people do. This is significant. But in this 2011 decision, this is what they said. that the FDA has never spelled out in regulations the criteria it uses to decide whether a vaccine is safe. You cut me off on the punchline. If people say vaccines are safe, let me ask you this. If someone said vaccines are safe, would that mean they kill less than 6 out of 100?
I want to
There's
go back
no
to what you
standard
just
for the
said
word
earlier.
safe vaccine.
Okay, hold on.
I just want you to know that. There's no government regulation.
I want to go back to what you said a few minutes ago because this is very important. I think it's very telling of who you are, with all due respect. You said that 9/11 was an inside job, correct?
Yes.
Okay, who did it then? Who did it? So those terrorists that were on that plane that are dead, they didn't do it. They just happened to be on the plane?
Yes. No,
really?
Nobody's on a plane. Those are self-guided planes. Nobody was on them.
Okay, so
come on, where's the wreckage from the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania?
There's a passenger manifest. We know the names of those
how did Building 7 go down?
Hold on
3 buildings went down, right? 3 buildings went down.
No,
right?
you just said, let's go back to what you just said. You just said, hold on.
Right.
One thing at a time.
Sir, you're not letting us finish our question. You're interrupting us in the middle of our question.
You just said that those people on the plane didn't die?
Yes,
they're still alive.
There's nobody on a plane.
Really?
There's nobody on a plane.
So the passenger manifest and the video of those people getting on the plane.
Where's your proof? Where's your evidence
for
that?
Dead.
Come on. Where's your
where's your
evidence?
6 feet underneath the ground. How
where's
dare
your evidence?
you?
Show me your evidence.
There are people.
How
there are
dare you?
stories
Okay,
of people
Greta.
that died.
Okay, Greta. How dare you?
What do you mean, Greta? What does
because
that mean?
You're all, how dare you? Like it's
so
Greta.
tell me, answer me a question then.
Okay,
those
Greta.
people that they said were on the plane, one of whom worked for Fox News. That was
they
a TV
said,
analyst.
oh, you heard it on the media.
Graves.
So Sean Hannity told you, like, okay, Sean, thank you.
How about
Come on.
How about those people that are 6 feet underneath the ground right now? How did they die?
Who's on
the
6
people that were in that building and the people that
Who?
were in those planes.
Wait, who are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I just answered your question. The people that were on the passenger manifest that are gone.
How do you know they're on the passenger
family members that don't have
that? How do you know that?
Well,
Where's
here's
your
an
evidence?
example for you.
Okay, let's see the evidence.
Are you being serious with me right now?
Yeah,
you're
I am,
looking me in the eye and you're talking.
Yes, because anybody can play. Anybody can play a game of where's the evidence.
Are you a nut?
No, let me. How many buildings went down?
You're a nut.
Building 7. Anybody know of Building 7?
Listen,
Show of hands.
Okay, hold on a second.
There was Building 7. 3 planes
Stop.
went. 3 planes
Stop.
went down on 9/11.
Stop.
Not 2.
Listen,
okay?
if you
do
want
the
to,
math.
if you
2
want
airplanes, 3
I'm going to
buildings.
turn your mic off if you can let me talk. Okay, if you want to make the argument that maybe the government could have been involved,
they did. They were.
Let me finish. Then I'm willing to have that discussion with you, and we can talk
you know
about
what Larry
that.
Silverstein
Let me
is?
finish. If you want to make that argument, that's fine. What do you mean unbelievable? We're having a conversation. Let me finish
no,
the damn
you're just
question.
yelling here. You just want to try
Because
to control the conversation.
No,
you want me to talk.
Sir, you are.
Does anybody know about Building 7?
You are not letting us ask you questions.
Okay.
Can I ask you on Building 7?
Can't.
Anybody?
Nobody's
heard of Building 7.
Turn your mic off and
you answer the question. That's it. We talk, then you talk. You talk, then we talk. It's very simple.
Say what you
in
got
the
to
middle of our questions, you're making these snarky remarks.
I'll tell you what my definition of unbelievable is. If you want to have a discussion about maybe how the government might have been involved, I'm willing to have that discussion with you. But for you to say, there's families out there that lost. Let me finish. The firefighters and the police officers that lost their lives.
Yeah, people died. Yeah, they died. Police officers.
But they didn't die in the planes, though.
No,
those people were fake.
I told you the planes
are ridiculous.
Remote control planes crashing into a building.
What are you,
an
an 8-year-old
American
kid? Remote
yes,
control.
I'm 8
What are you, 8 years old? A remote control plane?
Are you 16 years old?
You think those planes were remote controlled? Then where did those people go? I ask you again. They found bodies. They found physical evidence of the bodies of some of the people
Mohammed
in that plane.
Atta's, they found his passport and they knew he did it, right? Remember the Mohammed Atta passport?
So where did those people go then? Answer the question. Those people that were supposedly those people that were supposedly in those planes on 9/11 that you believe were not on those planes, please tell me where they are. Where are they? What do you think? The school shooting in Connecticut didn't happen either? You're an InfoWars nut is what you are.
No, InfoWars is that guy's a nut too. He's
so
another
you agree
person.
You're a nut also.
No, he's someone who's hired. He's someone who's hired to give a bad name to
So answer the question. Answer the question. Where did those people go on that plane?
Have you heard of Building 7?
We will talk about Building 7 in a second until you answer my question. The people that were on those planes that you say didn't exist. Then where are those people? Answer the question.
They made up names. Somebody writes up names and they made up names. Wake up.
So those people on those planes didn't exist. Is that what you're saying? They never existed. So those wives that are crying that had husbands and those kids that lost their father, they don't exist. Where are they then? Where are they?
I just told you the people that were the Americans that were in the tower. They're people that died, and yes, those towers were collapsed by demolition. But the plane that flew into it is a remote control plane with no passengers.
And what is your evidence of that? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Where's your evidence?
There's DNA evidence.
Where's Building 7? Okay, now you dodge Building. Have you heard of Building 7?
No, we're not on to Building 7 yet.
You can't. You're scared of that one. You're the thing is
I'm scared.
3 buildings, 2 airplanes.
How are you an attorney?
Tell me how Building 7
How the
went
hell
down.
did you pass the
Can
bar?
anybody tell me how Building
where
7
did you
went
actually
down?
That's
go
a
to law
valid
school?
question, Mr. Shapiro.
Building
That's a
7
very
went
valid
down.
question.
How?
What kind
Building
of a-
7?
No,
What was brought down Building 7? Like, this is the question. You guys
How
keep
the
dodging
hell?
it.
How the hell did you pass the bar?
Do you handle cases in
I
court?
took the test.
Do you do this in court? Do you act like this in court? Is this standard? Does a judge let you act like this in court, or does he throw you out? Honest to God. Or do you try to handle all your cases out of court because you can't even handle yourself in court? Just like you can't handle this
Building
interview.
7, the
No, honest
Solomon
question.
Brothers
Where'd you go to
building
law
is
school
a
at, sir?
47
Yeah, where did you go to
building.
law school? That's what I want to know.
I went to a place that's like a Sandy Hook. It's gone. The law school I went to has got demolished.
And what's the name of it? Can you tell me what the
DeVry
name of it is?
University?
I can't even remember.
You
this
can't
place.
remember where you
I can't
graduated?
remember for the life of me.
You can't remember where you
Can't remember.
graduated from
Actually
law
an
school.
attorney?
Are you
JD,
even
that
an
long
attorney?
ago. It's
I
been
think
like
JD called this. This is
about
a troll
30 years
situation.
ago.
I think
you
we're
can
good
look
to
me
go.
up. You can look me up online.
We got hoodwinked,
this.
JD. I think we got hoodwinked, Brian.
Are you actually an attorney?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. The California State Bar number 165833.
And where did you graduate? Then why can't you tell us where you graduated from?
Because I can't remember what they call it now. They changed the name. It's like University of Laverne at something or
Well,
other.
now
College of Law, San Fernando
I guess I'm a
Valley.
conspiracy theorist too.
Yes.
I don't even think you're an attorney.
You can say whatever you want, but I am. I have a bar
I
card.
don't
so
think you're an
it's-
attorney. I don't think you represent
let's talk
anybody.
about
But
Building
Brian, you
7
can
in
actually
the
take,
meantime.
you can take the
Let's
bar
talk about
in California and not go to law school, which is what I think you did. Am I right? You don't
No,
have, you don't have a JD, do you?
No, I don't have a degree. I have no
Okay,
college
exactly.
degree
Right.
of any kind.
But you passed the bar.
But I passed the bar.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Because anybody can sit for the bar exam.
Kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can, right?
if you go, if you go to
Did
law
you watch a
school.
couple of movies?
Okay, but enough about me.
Oh,
That was a good
okay.
flick, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great.
Definitely.
It's a really good flick.
Definitely, there's no question about being a lawyer here. But the issue is this: when are we going to talk
Well, there
about
might be,
Building
but-
7? I'm anxious to talk about Building 7 here. Is there any way we can talk about Building 7? We have.
Well, it's a little bit of a departure from the coronavirus, which is originally why we're having you on for this conversation.
It's the same reason.
But you started out the interview by talking about patents. I do think, Mr. Hall, you do have a patent. You have a patent on something
Let me just defend him
called
on
the
one
shadow
thing.
of the
Let me defend him.
coronavirus.
Let me
give a patent
let
on
me
that,
defend him on one
calling
thing.
it that.
He did pass the bar in the state of California. I have it right in front of me here. September 29th, 1993. Admitted to the state.
27 years. I told
Admitted
you.
to the state bar of California. I think you should have to go through that again.
Was he
but-
admitted to someplace else after he got that?
Be honest. Be honest.
Because I think that's a very definite
Mr. Phillips, have you
possibility.
ever been admitted to a psychiatric ward? Be honest. Don't lie to us. Be honest.
Yes.
Let's talk about Building 7.
won't answer.
You guys keep dodging this.
He's dodging the question, Brian.
3
He's doing it
buildings,
again.
2 airplanes. How did 2 airplanes take down 3 buildings? What made Building 7 the 47-story
okay.
building
Remote
collapse?
control
In a
airplanes.
bed-
We're
in a
back to
bed-
that now,
Right,
right?
No, it didn't get hit. It didn't get hit. How did Building 7
there
go
weren't
down?
any people on those
Okay,
planes,
let me tell you.
right?
Did anybody read the 9/11
I heard
Commission
Muhammad
report?
Atta.
I heard
Yeah.
Muhammad
I
Atta
read
bought
the
a remote
9/11
control plane at 7-Eleven, and he
I
and he
read
flew
the
into
9/11
the building.
Commission
That's what
report.
he
They
did.
had the first
Wait,
ever
listen,
drone.
Let me say this. I read the 9/11 Commission report, the whole GD thing. Okay, let me say this about the 9/11 Commission report. It never ever mentions Building 7.
I have 30
which is
seconds.
Kind of a remarkable thing.
I've got to take a couple callers
but
here.
don't talk about Building 7. Whatever you do.
I have 30 seconds
Pretty
for
cowardly.
James.
Pretty cowardly.
James, you're next up on the Vegas take. Go ahead, James. I got 30 seconds for you. Go.
Brian, I don't agree with you on a lot of things. JD, I agree with you on almost everything. But please, the two of you get this retard off the air.
All right.
I'm sorry for saying
Yeah,
that.
you can't use that.
James, I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Let's go to
great call,
Todd.
James.
Todd, you're next up on the Vegas take. What's going on?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
Well, this is Pat, but
Okay. Sorry, Pat. Go ahead.
well, I just want to know if he's ever been found in contempt, how many times he's been found in contempt of court, interrupting court like he interrupts you guys.
Matthew, would you like to answer that question for him?
0. But let's talk about Building 7.
We
here,
only got
okay?
about a minute. We don't have time for building 7.
Yeah.
we have
listen,
1 minute left.
Well, let me just tell you what's going on with the coronavirus. The
What's
reason
going on
they
with
did
you?
It,
Are you married?
The reason that they do
you
the
have a family? Be honest.
coronavirus.
Are you married?
Are you married? We just talk about
No,
your
I'm
private
single.
life
No,
or
I'm
talk
single.
about the coronavirus?
I'll answer
here?
anything. We have
The point
30
is-
seconds. Do
no,
you
I
have a
wanna
family?
talk about the
Do you
coronavirus
have
here.
kids in this town? Do you have a family? Yes
the
or no?
coronavirus
You won't
is
answer the
something
question.
that is created on purpose so they could get $8.5 billion
all right,
in
just,
funding.
seconds.
It's all about
just
the
to summarize
$8.5
quickly.
billion in funding.
So people are dying of something, and the government is saying it's a
Nobody's dying.
coronavirus. Okay, no one's actually dying.
Nobody's
None of these.
They're just
there has
making
been
it up to
3,500
scare
deaths
people.
across.
Okay.
I mean, there's
They're
been
just making
videos
it
of
up.
people falling on the street in Iran and China.
Yes, I'm sure there are.
That
I've
hospital
seen,
they built in
yes.
China was just a joke that they built in 10 days.
All right,
Yes,
we got to
they're
go
making it
now.
up.
I got it.
We got to go now. Matthew, I appreciate your time. I think you're absolutely out of your mind, but I appreciate your time. Coming up next, we'll be speaking with Jamison Welsh from Drive Time Sports. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take.